You've most likely heard about the many species of kangaroos in Australia. You've also probably heard that Australia is the 6th largest country in the world. But I bet you didn't know Australia has a competition designated for cockroaches, or that its first police force was made up of convicts. Crazy, right? Well, here are 15 shocking things about Australia that will leave you speechless. 15. Women's suffrage. Let us start with a bit of women's rights, shall we? Did you know that Australia was the second country to give women the right to vote after New Zealand? Well, in 1902, a year after Australia became a federation, the Commonwealth Franchise Act was passed. This enabled men and women to exercise their rights to vote in federal elections. Imagine that! The country was barely a year old and was already as progressive. However, there was still a drawback to this progress because the law prevented Indigenous Australians from voting until decades later. The Indigenous Australians were only given this right in 1962. This is very surprising, especially when you hear this next shocking thing about Australia. 14. The oldest race in the world. The Indigenous Australians represent the oldest continuing living culture in the entire world. According to a genomic study published in the National Journal in 2016, Aboriginal Australians have an ancestry that can be traced as far back as 75,000 years ago. The study was carried out by an international team of researchers, including 9 Aboriginal leaders, who analysed genomic data from 83 Aboriginal Australians and 25 Highland Papuans from Papua New Guinea. The results reveal that their ancestors split from Eurasians around 57,000 years ago, following a single migration out of Africa approximately 75,000 years ago. But from thousands of years ago, let's now move to something more recent and innovative. 13. The charm of the Australian dollar. The Australian dollar is regarded as one of the most advanced currencies in the world because it's known for its durability and security. Introduced in 1966, it transitioned from paper to polymer in 1988, making Australia the first country to adopt polymer banknotes. These notes are waterproof, long-lasting, and feature cutting-edge security elements like transparent windows, holograms, and raised print, making them extremely difficult to counterfeit. The success of Australia's polymer notes has influenced other countries, including Canada and the UK, to adopt similar technologies. But Australia isn't done leading the world in monumental things. 12. The largest cattle station in the world. Covering approximately 23,677 square kilometers, Anna Creek Station is the largest cattle station in the world, located in South Australia. What's really crazy about the size of Anna Creek is that it's larger than some countries such as Israel, Jamaica, Slovenia, and many others. This also means that a station dedicated to basically cattle ranching is almost 80 times bigger than the Maldives or Malta.
Randall manages Anna Creek Station, the world's largest cattle property.
Established in the 1800s, Anna Creek Station is known for its vast arid landscape and remote location. But despite its immense size, the station supports a relatively small number of cattle due to the challenging desert conditions. 11. The world's longest golf course. The Nullarbor Links is the world's longest golf course, spanning 1,365 kilometres across the vast and remote Nullarbor Plain in Australia. Opened in 2009, the 18-hole par 72 course stretches between Kalgoorlie in Western Australia and Ceduna in South Australia, with each hole located in a different town or roadhouse along the Eyre Highway. Players travel long distances between holes, offering a unique golfing experience that also showcases the rugged beauty of the Australian Outback. You see, playing the Nullarbor Links isn't just about golf, it's an outback adventure that takes several days to complete. Travellers can enjoy the vast open spaces, historical landmarks, and local hospitality along the way. It's a test of endurance as much as skill, making it a bucket list destination for both avid golfers and those seeking a once-in-a-lifetime experience in one of the most remote regions of the world. But let's now check out another space fetish of Australia before seeing the Cockroach tournament. 10. The world's largest sand island. K'gari, or Fraser Island as it was formerly called, is the largest sand island in the world, located off the coast of Queensland, Australia. Covering about 1,655 square kilometers, it's renowned for its stunning natural beauty, featuring tropical rainforests, wild dingoes, freshwater lakes, and striking sand dunes. K'gari, which means paradise in the language of the indigenous Butchulla people, holds cultural significance and UNESCO World Heritage status due to its unique ecosystems and biodiversity. It's home to diverse wildlife, including dingoes, and is a popular destination for ecotourism, offering activities like four-wheel driving, hiking, and camping. The rusted remains of the Maheno ship, which wrecked on K'gari shores during a cyclone in 1935, still lie on the beach, providing a popular historical site for tourists. 9. World Championship of Cockroach Racing. The World Championship of Cockroach Racing is a quirky and entertaining annual event held every year on Australia Day at the Storybridge Hotel in Brisbane, Queensland. This light-hearted competition, which started in 1982, features cockroaches racing on specially designed tracks as spectators cheer for their chosen insect. Participants bring their own cockroaches or rent one at the event, with competitors named creatively, adding to the festive atmosphere. While the event is mostly for fun, it's grown into a popular spectacle, attracting large crowds and media attention. The World Championship of Cockroach Racing has become a unique part of Australia Day celebrations, blending humour, competition, and community spirit. 8. Why do the kangaroo and the emu make up the Australian coat of arms? The kangaroo and the emu are featured on Australia's national coat of arms and hold special significance, representing the country's values of progress and unity. Chosen in 1908, both animals were selected for symbolic reasons that reflect Australia's identity and aspirations. Kangaroos are physically built to leap forward, and emus, while capable of some backward movement, prefer moving forward. This characteristic was seen as representing progress and advancement, symbolizing a nation that's always moving forward and striving for improvement rather than looking back. That said, do you know that for Australia to curb its security challenges, they turn to criminals? 7. The first police force in Australia. The story of Australia's first police force is a unique reflection of the country's early colonial history. In 1789, just 1 year after the first fleet arrived in New South Wales to establish a penal colony, Governor Arthur Phillip faced the challenge of maintaining law and order in the rapidly growing settlement of Sydney. Resources were scarce, and with convicts vastly outnumbering free settlers and officers, Phillip needed a solution to keep the colony under control. To address this issue, Governor Phillip decided to form a police force made up of the most well-behaved convicts. These convicts were selected based on their good behaviour and trusted with enforcing colonial laws among their peers. Known as the Night Watch, like in Game of Thrones, this group of 12 men was charged with patrolling the streets at night, keeping the peace and preventing crime within the colony. 6. Mount Disappointment. Located at the southern end of the Great Dividing Range, approximately 60 kilometres north of Melbourne, Victoria, Australia, is Mount Disappointment. Yup, you heard that right. However, despite its odd name, it's a popular hiking destination for locals and visitors alike, and trust me, nothing is disappointing about this beauty. So why was it called so? You see, in 1824, explorers Hume and Hovell, hoping to catch a glimpse of Port Phillip Bay, climbed to the summit of this mountain. Unfortunately, they were left disappointed with dense vegetation prevented them from meeting their goal. But we're not done with huge rocks yet. 5. A giant in the Australian Outback. The largest monolith or single stone is Mount Augustus, a sandstone monolith also known as Uluru of the North. It's found in the Pilbara region of Western Australia. It's over 3,600 feet above sea level and covers an area of over 11,800 acres, making it a truly impressive sight. The surrounding area offers breathtaking views of the Australian outback, and several hiking trails allow visitors to explore the area and climb to the summit. 4. Too much beer for one country. Beer remains the most popular alcoholic beverage, with Australians consuming an average of 680 bottles per person every year. According to a 2017 report, Australians consume around 1.7 billion litres of beer yearly. To put this in perspective, this amount consumed would fill over 600 swimming pools used in the Olympics. However, amongst Australians, those in the West consume the most beer, with Aussies aged 15 and over drinking more than 2 standard drinks daily. 3. Koalas versus STIs. Chlamydia is a serious health issue for koalas in Australia, with infection rates as high as 90 to 100% in some regions. This sexually transmitted disease can cause blindness, infertility, and even death. Several factors contribute to high infection rates, including habitat loss, stress, and limited genetic diversity. Conservationists are working to address the chlamydia crisis through habitat restoration, disease management, and public awareness campaigns. 2. Voting is compulsory. In Australia, the legal age for voting is 18, like most countries. But unlike most countries, in Australia, once you're 18, it's compulsory to vote. While there are some exceptions for individuals with legitimate reasons for not voting, non-compliance can result in fines. Compulsory voting is designed to ensure that all citizens have a say in the government that represents them. It's believed that this system promotes civic engagement and encourages voters to be informed about the issues at stake. 1. The highest number of camels in the world. Despite being an island continent, Australia boasts the largest camel population in the world. This may seem counterintuitive, but the history behind these camels is quite fascinating. In the 19th century, camels were imported to Australia to help with transportation and exploration in the harsh outback conditions. Their ability to thrive in arid environments and carry heavy loads made them invaluable assets to early settlers. However, with the advent of motorized vehicles, camels became less necessary. Many were released into the wild, where they adapted and multiplied rapidly. Today, Australia's feral camel population is estimated to be in the millions. So, which of these facts about Australia shocked you the most? Let us know in the comments down below, and don't forget to like and subscribe.